Good morning, world. Cece here. So, have you ever had one of those moments where you think, why am I still stuck here? I mean, come on. We've worked on this, we've thought about it, understand it. I know I listen to a ridiculous amount of personal growth stuff, and a lot of it makes perfect sense to me. So, why do we still struggle with this particular thing? Why are we still doing that? Why haven't we got to wherever we think we're supposed to be by now? Well, maybe that's part of the problem right there. Who said I wasn't supposed to be here? I think sometimes we get this idea that because we've grown and we're never supposed to struggle again. And that's just not how life works. Life goes up and life goes down. We have really good seasons and some not so good ones. Sometimes we're moving like crazy, and sometimes it feels like we're standing completely still. And maybe instead of thinking, oh great, here I am again, and beating the crap out of myself over it. Or we could just acknowledge it and say, okay, this is where I am right now. It doesn't mean I'm staying here. It doesn't mean everything as I've learned has disappeared. And it certainly doesn't mean I'm back at the beginning. It just means this is where I am today. And beating myself up because I think I should be somewhere else isn't going to move me forward. If anything, it's probably going to push me a little farther backward. So maybe we start there. No big dramatic overhaul. No, I've got to fix my entire life by Friday. Just, okay, where am I? And what's one little thing I can do from here? Baby steps. Because maybe the goal isn't to never feel stuck again. Maybe it's learning what to do when we do. And maybe that's the first thing we need to figure out. One is, what kind of stuck am I? Because I don't think they're all the same. Sometimes we're choice stuck. You know what your choices are. You just don't particularly like any of them. Maybe you're unhappy in a relationship, but leaving means turning your entire life upside down. Or maybe you're unhappy with where you're living, but moving isn't financially possible right now. Or there's a decision sitting in front of you, and every option comes with something you don't want. So you wait and wait. And sometimes what you're really waiting for is another option to magically appear that doesn't cost us anything. And I don't necessarily mean financially. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Then there's what I call knowledge stuck. And oh, I can relate to this one. You know the thing, you understand the thing. Hell, you could probably give somebody else really good advice about the thing. And yet, you're still not consistently doing it yourself. And it's frustrating because you think, come on, I know this. But maybe knowing something and actually living it are two completely different things. I could spend 6 months learning everything there is to know about playing a piano. I could watch videos, read books, learn where every key is. But at some point, I still have to sit my butt down at the piano and teach my fingers how to play. Knowing isn't always doing. And then there's fear stuck. And this one's tricky because fear doesn't always feel like fear. Sometimes it really feels like responsibility. This probably isn't the right time. I should probably wait. I need more information. Maybe when I have a little bit more money. And sometimes those are completely legitimate reasons. But sometimes it's just fear wearing a business suit. And then there's overwhelmed stuck. You've got so many things you want to change that you don't know which one to start with. The house needs work, the finances need work, the relationship needs work, we need work. And suddenly you're standing at the bottom of this enormous mountain thinking, where the hell do I even start? Well, maybe don't start with the mountain. Maybe you start with the next 10 feet. That's one thing you can do today, not 17 things, just one. Then there's familial stuck. This one is interesting because we can stay somewhere that doesn't make us happy simply because we know it and we know the relationship and we know that job, we know the routine, and even know the version of ourselves within it all. And the unknown can be scary. So sometimes the familiar thing that's making us miserable somehow feels safer than the unknown thing that might actually make us happier. And then there's the one thing we overlook all the time, the invisible progress stuck. Maybe you think you're stuck because the big thing hasn't happened yet. But look a little closer. Maybe something that used to ruin your entire day not only gets 20 minutes of your time. Maybe you're saying no when you used to automatically say yes. Or possibly you caught yourself falling into an old pattern before you got all the way into it. Maybe you're finally noticing the way you talk to yourself. And those things count. That's movement. It just doesn't feel like movement because there's no finish line sitting there saying, congratulations, you've officially grown as a human. And wouldn't that be convenient? But here's another kind of stuck I think might be one of the biggest ones. Expectation stuck. That's a big one for me. That's the I shouldn't even be here anymore kind of stuck. Like I've already worked on this and I've learned this lesson. I thought I was past this and then here it is again. And now you're not only dealing with whatever showed up, we're pissed off at ourselves because it showed up at all. Well, that's helpful. Maybe we need to stop expecting personal growth to mean that we somehow graduated from being human. We're gonna have bad days, people. Old fears are gonna show up, and sometimes we thought we completely dealt with comes knocking again. But here's the thing. Coming back to the same place doesn't necessarily mean you're the same person you were the last time. Maybe the last time you went through this, you stayed there for 3 years. This time it was 3 months. Maybe next time only 3 days. Maybe last time you didn't even recognize what was happening. This time you caught yourself doing it. Maybe last time you blamed everyone around you. And this time you stopped and thought, okay, what part of this belongs to me? That, my friends, is growth. You're not back at square one just because you recognize the scenery. So maybe when you feel stuck, the first thing we need to do isn't panic. And just go, okay, I'm stuck. No judgment. No beating ourselves up. Just acknowledge it and ask, okay, what kind of stuck am I? And once you've identified that, ask yourself this question. Where am I moving forward that I'm not giving myself credit for? Because maybe being stuck isn't always about the absence of growth. Sometimes it's just part of it. And again, life is going up and going down. We're going to move forward. We're probably going to slide backwards once in a while, and that's okay. So the next time you find yourself thinking, seriously, I'm here again, don't beat yourself up. Just take a look around. Figure out why you're there. Figure out what you can control and take that one little step. Because you're not back at square one just because you recognize the scenery again. Because once more, you're not the same person you were the last time it came through. So hey, if this conversation resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with somebody who might need to hear it. I'd love to have you back. As always, take care of your mind, and the rest has a better chance of falling into place. Until next time, this is Cece, and this is Cece Talks Live, real talk, real life.